Everyone to another SlabStox Monday YouTube Live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all for coming. Today is a very big episode as we are talking about the new SlabStox and Card Ladder partnership, data partnership, and what this means for our content and for you all as viewers and engagers and supporters that we do very appreciate. So this is a very big show. I'm happy that you all are here. I'm happy that Nate's here with me to discuss it all. And I'm very excited for today's episode because the entire Card Ladder team, at least the three front-facing ones, there are more on the Card Ladder team, but Chris, Christina, and Josh are all joining us come 6:15 Eastern Time today. So the first 15 minutes, we'll be explaining what the partnership is, how it came about, all that stuff, and then we'll be jumping into the episode from there. But I just want to say thank you all for joining, and Nate, thank you as well.
Heyo, excited for this.
Yeah, very exciting. As you can see, I got a new background going here for our SlabStox Live, but what I also have to add in is that I made a mistake, and I failed to realize. Oh, that is also my phone. I was trying to pull up the link here, but I also failed to realize that it kind of blocks it up there. It kind of blocks the little SlabStox Live, which is okay. Got some people jumping in here. Jose, Jordan, Tony.
Both Jordans.
Any comments at one time? Two Jordans, a Jose, a Tony, and a Big Daddy C. Liam, welcome everyone. Very much so looking at the new year, and Happy New Year to everyone too. First episode since the new year.
Of what year?
2022. Nate, I'm on it, dude. Don't worry.
You got it. We were on a meeting today, and he said 2021. Last 2 weeks ago, he was talking about 2021 and was saying 2020. But Aaron is finally up to date on what year it is. Congratulations.
Well, you know what this is the year of not Arsenal. I'll tell you that much. That's what they all say. 2022, the year of not Arsenal. We are upon it. Actually, just kidding. I really do actually hope that Arsenal gets top four because that make for some fun Champions League, Nate, if both of our teams are in it.
Tell you what, if they're both in it, when does Champions League play?
Like in the fall and spring.
Okay, so if they're both in it come fall, second SlabStox team trip out to England.
Yes, I endorse that. All right, we got to get going though for today because we have a big episode. We have 12 minutes now to kind of go through some information before actually jumping in with the Card Ladder team. So this was the post we put up on Instagram on January 1st, New Year, big partnership announcement. A lot of you here probably have followed. Well, some of you here have probably followed us for a long time. Regardless if that's 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 6 months. If you followed us as soon as 6 months ago, you would know that we were in the midst of a project called SlabStox Pro. When I started the company back in 2018, that is quite some time ago now. Well, actually, 2017, I think, was when I had the idea, maybe early 2018. I wanted to build a sports card market tracker that was similar to Yahoo Finance, but tracked sports cards like stocks. That was the original idea for the company. And from there, Nate and I decided, and then Nate joined me very soon after that, to launch content and to launch audience engaging information that we can help share and connect with other collectors and talk about the increases and decreases in sports card values. And back then, not many people or really anyone was doing that, especially on Instagram, which is where we got our big start, was on Instagram. So that was the idea with the company. That's the idea when we started, all this other stuff to go along with it. Although very soon after that, Nate and I realized that it would not be the sports card tool, the market tracker, that would really actually give us an opportunity to have a career and a life out of sports cards. As we started to realize that the most important thing is the content and the audience. And the only reason why the content's important is because of the audience. So we just want to give a big thank you to everyone, first of all, for following us, supporting us, and joining us on the journey. While it was my vision and hope that eventually we could launch a free sports card market data tool, which we did end up doing in June. We launched a beta first to our pre-registration list, which I want to thank everyone so much for believing in it in the first place and joining that pre-registration list. If you ever hopped on SlabStox Pro and used it, we thank you for doing that too. But after it took about 5 months for us to finally decide that it just was not feasible for us to run it anymore. When I started, the reason why I wanted to start the sports card market tool for everyone, SlabStox Pro, was because of the fact that there was none out there. And it was difficult to get your hands on data and want to find a way to do it. We ended up going about it in a very difficult way that we actually got close and we did put it out there and people were using it. But it was just too unsustainable, too costly. The not having a fully automated integrated data feed was very difficult to run it. And it took a lot of hard work, a lot of hours, a lot of resources between a lot of people, not just Nate and I sitting here, but many other people. And we thank everyone that helped us in doing that. But the real thing is that we learned a lot of lessons through that. And we really learned that we want to be here to create content, connect with the community, and have data as a support in that. And by Card Ladder, which has made a second to none sports card market platform, which is awesome. I'm going to show it here in a little bit for y'all who are not aware of what Card Ladder is or haven't used it. It really is an awesome platform that tracks thousands of different sports cards and has some incredible features. And one of the biggest importances of the platform, in my opinion, is that they have all-time sales data history from 14 different sources. This does not limit the scope of what values are being drawn in. It is not just eBay, as well as not just eBay. It's not just PWCC or Golden or MySlabs. It's literally 14 different sources combined into one.
And it's
which
not
I
just
think
auction prices.
What?
It's not just auction prices either.
Correct. It's not just auction prices either. It's buy it nows too. So there's a ton of benefit to Card Ladder. They bring a lot of tools to the use of the public, which I think go a long way as collectors and not only as investors, which is awesome to see. And it really is out there to help the community. And the team that is behind it is just as good as the platform, but they're actually better. Which is the awesome part about it. Because as we know, Nate and I know throughout this time here, the people is what makes sports cards run. Without the people in sports cards, there are no sports cards. And without the people at Craig, Card Ladder, Chris, Christina, and Josh, there is no Card Ladder. And we're not sitting here today firing up this partnership here. So super pumped about it. We are very excited about 2022 and what this is going to do for SlabStox content and for you all as viewers and audience, how much leverage we're going to have creating content with all this data now. Like, it's just going to be awesome to find out all these different market trends. Nate, anything else to add here before I roll through a couple of these slides?
Just I hadn't been on it a ton, and then in the last couple of weeks jumped on it and just blew me away. The depth, the thought put behind a lot of the segments and stuff. And the ease of use. So I was blown away by Card Ladder, and I'm happy to be partnering with them.
And I think for us, like going through the process of attempting to do something that they did do, it just makes us very appreciative of even being able to do this with them because of how much work, like we know, went into this platform they built. Like there's no question that this took thousands of hours from these three individuals and more to get this thing going, and it's probably pushing out a very large number at that. So they've been awesome, and I'm very excited to welcome onto the show today. So we've got a few minutes here, so I want to walk through a couple of things here. Here's a display of SlabStox Pro. I forgot to flip to that for anyone that remembered the data platform we did. But here is where it's going to come into play. So this was one of the first content pieces we put up on Instagram using Card Ladder. This is one of their charts. It's a 3-month chart on Giannis Antetokounmpo 2016 Optic Holo PSA 10. And the nice thing about Card Ladder is that, like Nate said, this has on this chart eBay, PWCC, both auctions and buy it now is all combined onto this chart. And if there were sales through MySlabs or Golden or wherever, they would be on this chart as well. So that's just a huge advantage, first off, because the sports card market is becoming very segmented where cards are getting sold. And it's very important to track all that data and not just rely on one data source, which is huge. On top of that, they also have access to PSA population growth and reports, which is massive. I mean, this is the Giannis Antetokounmpo Holo PSA 10, the one I just showed. But from April, end of April until today, the growth of the PSA 10 population. As you can see here, in quarter 3 of 2021, it spiked hard. And then it stabilized as only one got added in the last quarter of the year. I wrote up an article on this on SlabStox Instagram. You can read it to find out more info on this. But like, this is something that Card Ladder is able to do. And like, that is something that Nate and I were never able to get to with SlabStox Pro, is even trying to integrate in the PSA popper. Like, just the depth of, like Nate said, the database and the features is literally incredible what they were able to put together. And something that I think is of huge use, especially in trying to figure out when floors might be hit with cards and if they can rise based on supply levels and selling in the marketplace if more getting graded. It's a very, very big point of use. Now, right here, I just want to point out that SlabStox.com, the very first thing you see when you go to SlabStox.com now, it used to be some SlabStox Pro header and stuff and saying, oh, get on track your cards now. But what's on SlabStox.com at this moment is a email sign up form for a daily Slab newsletter. As we're coming off SlabStox Pro and launching the next segment of our company, or the next chapter of our company, I should say, the daily newsletter is going to be one of the biggest information sources you can go to outside of our Instagram page, which I'm sure many of you follow at SlabStox. But if you go to SlabStox.com, this email comes out every single day at 6 a.m. Central Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. There's multiple people that contribute to this email outside of just, I was about to say Aaron and myself, Nate and myself. So we would appreciate if you guys go to SlabStox.com, put in your email and sign up for that daily newsletter, because there's a ton of content that comes through here, as well as like we just launched with this Card Ladder data partnership. There's going to be plenty of write-ups on different cards trending in the sports card marketplace. And it's very exciting to be able to get that information to yourselves in the morning and start your day off with sports cards. And there's a lot of work that gets put in this email, so we would appreciate heading to SlabStox.com to sign up. And I'll put the link in the description for that. Now, we're going to answer some more questions here. There's a question from Nick. Is Card Ladder free? So there's actually two versions of Card Ladder and then Card Ladder Pro. So I will detail that in a little bit. First off, I just want to spend 10 seconds on this. Tomorrow, SlabStox breaks 3 p.m. Eastern Time. SlabStox.com/shop to grab some packs for the breaks. As always, I just know that I launched these packs pretty late, and so I make sure people who do want to get involved with their breaks tomorrow know where to go, and that's to SlabStox.com/shop, and then watch it on the SlabStox Breaks YouTube channel. So now we are here upon, and this is actually the Card Ladder platform, and this is what's going to prompt me to go to the actual platform versus screen sharing it through a slide show. So if you stick with me here for a couple seconds, I will go and hit up the Card Ladder platform here. So this, what you're seeing right now, is Card Ladder Pro. Now, if I hit this little arrow right here, it's going to pull up all these different tabs on the side. You see dashboard, ladder, collection, shop, sales history, watch list, compare, feed, indexes, and submissions. Now, this is a lot of different information. We're not going to be able to cover it all right now because we are only a few minutes away from the Card Ladder team joining us. But I just want to show this, that there are so many features here with Card Ladder Pro. And if you're wondering what's the difference between Card Ladder Free and Card Ladder Pro, so in Card Ladder Free, you can look up all these different cards like this Joe Burrow Prism Silver PSA 9 here, the rookie that just jumped up to $508. Let me just extend my screen quick so you can see that. This right here, if you're on the free version, you can only see 3 months and less. So this is 3 months of data and less. And you cannot see 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, or all time. If I hit the all time, there's all time. If I hit the 6 months, use the 6 months. Now, on top of that, a ton of these features on the left side here are with the paid version. Everything really from collection, sales history, watch list, and down. Not feed, but all that stuff is part of the paid features. And there are so many reasons to sign up for the paid features. The one I'll point out very quickly here is the sales history tab. Now, this, you can search any card. They do not have to be indexing or tracking this card in their database for you to be able to figure out the sales history of a card through all these different platforms that they track, and it's all-time data too. So this is specifically for the Immaculate Josh Giddey RPA that I just posted on Instagram. I use this to go and find all the sales data to make that post with, and you can literally look up something as terribly as the Devontae Graham. Let's just say for whatever reason you wanted a pink optic part of it. So you actually could go on here and see all the different sales.
Yeah, find me a pink hyper
PSA 10.
Yeah,
here's a 10 that sold for $26.
Woo, I'm rich.
So this is quite the feature here, because a lot of these different cards you might own as well with us right now are not tracked by our Card Ladder's indexes, where you can see the actual graph like the Joe Burrow, but want to see the sales history, especially combining all the different platforms and the all-time history. So it's a great way to do it. In my opinion, if I was signing up for the platform for one reason, I was going to spend the $15 a month it is to sign up. And by the way, if you do want to sign up for Slabs or for Card Ladder and you do want to hop on here and use these features, you can do that at the link I just put into the chat. That is like one of the most important features to me outside of the charts and the all-time data history, because I have a lot of random soccer cards that I can use and find all the different history with. Now, Nate, I know you got some stuff on Joe Burrow, but we do have the team waiting here. So how about you just give us the quick hitter on why this Joe Burrow card jumped up to $508 after yesterday's game?
Has thrown over 900 yards in the last 2 weeks. It's thrown a bunch of touchdowns. Jamar Chase is a stud, and also he is now third in MVP odds for Vegas.
Third in MVP odds now?
Can you believe that?
Who's he? Is he behind Rodgers and Brady?
Yep.
Where's JT?
Fourth.
What? That's garbage. That's garbage. But if you check out here, since the day after Christmas, this card's up nearly $300, 130% in value. It displays the rate of growth, the real dollar change, all the different amount of sales. Pretty incredible. And everyone, we will be doing way more videos on this in the future, using this in our content. So we'll cover it more in depth as we go along our content journey with Card Ladder. But right now, I do want to welcome to the channel Chris, Josh, and Christina. We've got the full Card Ladder team in the house today. Welcome, everyone.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hi, thanks for having us, guys.
Of course. And Josh, welcome as well.
Thank you. Yes, it was fascinating watching you guys use the tool because you use it so much differently than I do that it's just fascinating.
Well, hey, look at that. Now everyone's going to be able to see how we do it and use all different ways. I'm sure Josh uses it the best out of any of us because he's the one that built it.
I really doubt it.
All right. Well, first off, like I said, welcome. Before getting into anything about Card Ladder and the three people here, I just want to give a big congrats to them because if you did not see in the news a few weeks ago, Collectors, which used to be Collectors Universe, also owns PSA. They acquired Card Ladder and the platform and the team here. So that's amazing. Like, that's a huge deal. And just a big congrats to you all for running your dream and getting to that point, because that's huge, and much success going forward too, because I know there's a lot more to come. Now, I have a question, and the question is, give us the backstory of this team's creation of this platform. I think the biggest thing when it comes to companies' creations and stuff that comes, within a year and a half or 2 years that you guys have done this, how did you guys get here this quickly, and how did you guys form your team? I mean, I just want to hear the story.
Christina might be the best one to answer that question. So what do you say, Christina?
No, you're pointing to Chris on my screen, Josh. So yeah, I think Chris needs to answer that question.
Okay, well, Christina was worried if she was going to get to answer a bunch of questions or not. So her chance has come and gone. So, okay. All right. We'll keep this real short and sweet. We'd been fascinated by sports card data for many years. And when the lockdowns and the stay-at-home orders happened in March of 2020, that just kind of lit a fire under us to take some of the extra time that we all had and put it towards building this platform. We'd been discussing doing stuff like it for a while, but just finally the opportunity happened and we just decided to strike. And it's been a small, lean team from the very beginning. And it still is to this day, although we're going to be doubling in size in about a month here. But that's pretty much it, man. We launched on June 23rd, 6/23, 6 for LeBron, 23 for Jordan. And we rolled out a super duper MVP to start, when it was limited, but man, we were super nimble. And people came to us with great ideas, and we listened to them, and we tried to incorporate them. And that's still the same exact thing we do to this day. In fact, Aaron, you can probably speak to that a little bit, because you and I and Josh and we've been going back and forth. And you've Nate, helped us flag a Lewis Hamilton that was incorrectly labeled a base, but it was a sapphire, and we rely on that heavily to make our product the best thing it can be. So it's really just a testament to the community at the end of the day that so many great collectors have been with us from day one, and many more have joined us along the way and just kind of gave us feedback, tips, helped us kind of create, what the product is today.
Yeah, very quickly, I'll let the rest of the gang talk. But this Lewis Hamilton card right here, I texted Chris about this morning that Nate told me as a base, and it's actually a sapphire. And within like a couple hours, I think that the switch was made. And also, really big deal here too is I'll hop back to this Joe Burrow. Is that Josh? I suggested something the other day. I think it was like yesterday or something about this specific dark mode chart and how it's like light grayscale numbers. And I was just like, hey, like my dad can't read it. Can you switch it to white? Within a day, we have white numbers there, and it's gonna be really cool to be able to use the dark mode graphs now as SlabStox content. So I just want to share that because Chris is right. I mean, I think as much as all of us on this call and or on this meeting and live stream, whatever you call it, and all the viewers watching, the sports card community is really what drives this type of stuff forward. And I'm excited to see that like very soonly here after launching his partnership. They are all in on ideas and stuff and executing. It's really cool to see, and I just thank them for that too. And I'm sure everyone else does also.
Yeah, and if you have more ideas like that, send them our way, because we're very interested to hear. Like I said at the beginning, we're interested to hear kind of how different members, different like types of users use the app. And so if there's something that we're missing or that can be optimized or anything like that, we can look into it.
I just want to point out here, there's a question from Nick Foles about what platforms does Card Ladder track for data? Is it all eBay or eBay and auction sites? And Stiff Arm Wax dropped the bomb that there's 14 different sources and listed all of them there. And it is a lot. And it's very awesome to see all these different auction places combined into one, including Buy It Now from eBay, because that is no easy feat. And it's so helpful too. So helpful. I can't even say enough how awesome it's been already seeing that. All right. Next up is, I know that you kind of mentioned, Chris, like you started small and went from there, but I guess just for the viewers, just because I'm sure a lot of people want to hop on the Card Ladder and see how it works and aren't, I don't know how many people play Fortnite out there, but if you start Fortnite after like the first or second season, you can never go back and see the Fortnite 1 map and play it. What was the Fortnite 1 map for Card Ladder? And for people who can't go back and see it, how much has this thing progressed in the last year and a half? Because I wanted to believe it's been a lot.
Yeah, I bet we're all going to have a different answer. I'll tell you what mine is. So one of the things that kept me intellectually engaged with the project from the first instant was trying to do price modeling for really rare cards that don't sell very much. And so the initial way we did that was excruciating, because what would happen would be, let's say we were trying to price a Giannis Prism Gold. We would tie its historical sales data to a card that sells more frequently, like the Giannis Prism Silver. And so I would go and manually identify 5 different comps or less if there was less sales of the gold. And I would line up okay, the last time the gold sold was for X amount of dollars and the silver sold for Y amount of dollars a few weeks later. So there's a multiplier of 20x there. I'm just completely making these numbers up. And I would try to find as many different multipliers that were based on historical data as possible. And then Josh built out the software that would allow me to punch in those multipliers and then create an average multiplier and then apply that multiplier to project the price of the desired rare card that we were trying to price. And so that was a very manual, labor-intensive way of doing it. But I insisted that it happen that way because Josh obviously could have built the software to automate that, but I was very insistent that it has to be manual, because when you're just trying to compare one card's data point to another, sometimes 2 data points can be equidistant, and it takes some judgment to pick which one to use and other reasons like that. So that was the way we did it for a long time, for the first year of the product's life cycle. And then we, Josh and I put our minds together and came up with a new way to price cards once we rolled out player indexes. And so that was really tricky, trying to build indexes for different players. We studied the methodologies that stock market indexes use, and we borrowed heavily from them in order to solve some of the methodological problems that came up during that process. But we built the indexes, and then once we had the indexes, we're able to use the indexes to do price modeling based on historically correlated data points. So the map one was that old predicted pricing system that we had, which was very manual, very archaic, very limited. And then, now we're in a whole different world now where it's completely automated. Users can use that pricing technology to get the price of any card. Even if you're in the sales history feature, if you search a sale and you click on the sale, you're going to get most likely a predicted price for that particular card or that particular player. Yeah. So we have obviously an index for Mbappe, and then you get what it's sold for, and then you get the estimated value based on how his index has moved since that sale. So for me, that's my thing. But Josh and Christina are probably that's such a small part of what the product is that they probably have different initial maps, but that's mine, Aaron.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can do the feature version of this, which the left nav helps guide this. I think we launched with a very minor version of dashboard, ladder with like, was it 500 or 1,000? I think it was like, I honestly think it was like 500 cards, 500, yeah. And then collection, which was extremely dumbed down, and then compare and feed. I think that's all we launched with, and those were it. And the collection was like extremely bland. It was like add a manual card or just like add what we add, and there was no predicted pricing. There was no deep analytics. It was pretty plain. We didn't have the stats stuff. We didn't have any of that graphing. So I think that was it. And yeah, the ladder was like literally 500 cards. It was crazy.
Before Christina answers, I just want to pull up this question from Elijah as Elijah's in here, and I think that you guys can answer this question about Card Ladder. It seems to focus more on ultra modern and high volume slabs. Any timelines to broaden the cards covered?
Yep. Can't give too precise of a timeline, but the month of February, we're going to be in Orange County at Collectors Universe headquarters, bringing on board to our team 5 researchers who previously worked in PSA research efforts. I mean, at this time, the research efforts are done by Christina and myself for the most part, and we're able to allocate some percentage of our day to doing that. I mean, we're bringing on 5 full-time researchers, and they have different expertises. So some focus on TCG, which is incredibly underrepresented in Card Ladder's database. Some are going to focus on vintage, set building in all the sports, which is also underrepresented. We've chosen a very talented team that's going to help us build all different types of categories up, especially baseball. Baseball and hockey are underrepresented quite a bit. So, we're very cognizant of what cards, are pretty well ones need more representation. And then in parallel to that, we're also working on technologically solving the problem of more comprehensive coverage as well. And I won't go too much into like how we're going to do that. But just
We might have lost Chris there for a second. He
One
is.
more in a second.
Am I back?
Now. Yeah, you're
okay.
back.
Sorry. Okay, so I just want to say, even as you see us rolling out software solutions to these problems, we're not going to compromise our standard, which is that anytime a card profiles in our database and a new sale comes in, it's vetted by a researcher. So I don't want to. I've already said a lot of things that are pretty mysterious there, so I'll just stop talking. But we are on a fast track to scaling the database an enormous amount, even by 6 months from now, let alone by year's end.
Perfect.
That's great. All right, Christina, back to you. Version 1 of your Fortnite map or Card Ladder map.
So I mean, I think that like my favorite, like Josh said, like it was very basic at the beginning. It was definitely a passion project that kind of morphed into with great power comes great responsibility, and we weren't able to have this power just between the 3 of us, so we had to offer it to the rest of the hobby. And I think that my favorite though, like since we've like grown out is and like added to Card Ladder, has definitely been the submissions feature, because this allows us to know what our members want to prioritize adding to the ladder. And I think that like democracy is important, so that we can see, like, I mean, we have a pulse on the hobby, but collectors themselves in our members are definitely more broadened than what the 3 of us see. And we can now see through this what they think is coming up and what they want from their PC in, and then you can vote on it so that you can see the little thumbs up and thumbs down, guys. If you vote on it, you can help bump it up higher or lower on that list to get it in front of Chris and myself and on the ladder.
Question: if something is displaying here, does this mean that you guys have not decided to add it yet?
Yeah, so what this is as a member, you can add cards to the submissions portal, and then every member gets to vote on it. So this is the top list. The view you're looking at is the highest vote, which it looks like it's about 25 cards, or 25 votes. I mean, so that card has been voted up 25 times. So that one is like next on the list to be added to the card ladder.
Sweet.
Who in the wide world is voting up Nico Horner?
I was thinking the same thing.
Cubs fans.
Boo.
But that's the thing. It only takes 20 to 25 votes to get to the top of that list. So people who organize effectively can fast track their cards getting onto the ladder.
Oh boy. Oh man, we got some work to do here. Let's
Aaron.
create like 1 million accounts.
Aaron, we're gonna fast track Kansas Jayhawk cards. Thomas Robinson gold standard card is going to be right at the top.
I want to point out really quickly here on the players index thing. You're going to notice that they just add Jonathan Taylor. Big shout out to Card Ladder for adding JT cards. 39 of them actually. If you look right below him is Devontae Graham, who's actually a lower trender this month than Jonathan Taylor. Funny enough.
You wait till Zion gets back, and then you talk to me about Devontae Graham and how good he is.
I can't talk down on Devontae Graham because even to be trending 51% in a month is quite impressive. I mean, look at Steph Curry's right below him. I know it's 10 cards in there, but still.
26 cards.
Very cool. Very cool. I honestly I had a question here, which was what's each of your favorite features? But I feel as if map 1 actually told us each of your favorite features. Unless Josh, I don't know if you said, but is collection your favorite feature right now? You can answer that one.
No, my favorite feature is more like the data that powers everything, which is really like the sales history plus the players indexes. That's it's maybe like hard to see that when you're using the app because we've really tried to make the app extremely simple and clean and not try to throw too much at you at once. But behind the scenes, there's actually a ton of data crunching going on in terms of the sales history. There's 25 million sales index on Elasticsearch, and it's all searchable using like eBay logic. And that's where Chris and Christina use a lot of their time and efforts is to like pin down exactly the sales you want to look for. So this is my favorite part of it. And that plus the indexes is kind of where we get a lot of our magic from.
Yeah. So when Josh referenced eBay logic, if you use like parentheses and minus signs, you can actually pinpoint your searches or include as much as you want or decrease them as much as you want based on that. And we can attest to that too. eBay logic is very helpful when indexing cards and stuff. What do you say, Nate?
You know what's interesting to me is that we've had 3 different takes on what the most useful tool is for Card Ladder, and yet their useful tools are different than probably our useful tools, in which mine is the compare tool. Like that's my favorite thing by far.
Nate, give me your top comparison right now off the top of your head.
Oh wow, I really struggle.
Nate's not good at the top of his head.
Can I? Or there you go. Yeah, Burrow or
and give me Herbert or something.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, I would say this is a little bit Discovery Live right now. When you click this, it like highlights everything most of the time, and then you kind of have to like click your cursor around.
Yeah, that's like the Google search way. We should talk about that.
Right. I just point down because I thought about that the other day and I forgot.
Yeah, it's probably not good for compare, but it's kind of cool in the top header because like usually when you click the top, you're like starting over, but compare you're not. So like
yeah, that's a good point right there.
Was not expecting that. Is that Joe Burrow passed?
That is Joe Burrow passed as of $3 less last sold. That's crazy though. That's crazy. Cool. Look at the gap, and now it's right back there.
And that is why I love this tool, because if you're just looking up them by themselves, you don't really get that visual. Helps you learn. At least helps me learn.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot too. And I'm just going to throw in here because this was I did want to point out the collection tool before they came on, but did not get to. So my favorite feature they haven't mentioned, my favorite feature in general is the sales history feature. I mean, that creating content, that's bar none one of the best features there is, because even if there isn't a graph that's indexed yet, I mean, I found all that Josh Giddey sales history on his immaculate RPAs like within 2 seconds this morning after that triple double, or last night I looked it up. And but for the collection thing, that adding the card is ridiculously cool if it's not in their database right now. So if you have a Joe Burrow silver, you could type it in and then punch it in, and then boom, add it. If you click add manually and you upload an image, I'm just going to throw in an image of a, let's see here. Let's do this Walker Buehler auto. It Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. It image recognition on the label pulls in the year, the set, Walker Buehler, the number, the variation, the grade, and then all you gotta do from here is select the category, baseball. How much did you pay? I think it was like 240. And what's the estimated value? I guess in my mind, I hope it's worth 240. So I'll put that. And bought that around October. But once I add that, and you can mark it as sold too, and you can track your sales history, which is very awesome as well. But once I add that, it's going to add it to my collection after I select how we want to figure out the estimated value of the card based on the card ladder value that Chris is talking about, which is very cool that you guys also provide all the different research that goes behind that too. That's awesome. That's definitely a consumer confidence thing right there. But let's click player index because it is recommended, and this you do have to select individual cards. But we'll click player index, and it'll estimate the value, and then right here it'll log it, and it says it's worth $154, and that's a big rip myself. But we'll see. But
that's what my Christian
cool,
McCaffrey collection looks like right now. So
go to scroll down to his index,
Yeah.
go to Walker Buehler's index. I'm guessing it's like down since you bought it.
Yeah. So here's the index, and so I did buy it around October, which is like right up in here, and clearly some of the cards dropped since then. But I mean, this is something you all will have to talk to more so than myself. But some of the cards in here, if you're talking about like the Topps Chrome base, the PSA 9s and 10s, and there's not that many cards for Walker Buehler in general outside of his 2015 Bowman Chrome, there's a chance that the Heritage on card auto is just a better card and is more resistant to the drop in value than these other cards here, like the base PSA 10, which might have cratered since then, versus the other ones like the Bowman Chrome autos and whatnots. So I guess that you guys can maybe speak to that really quickly for people who are using the estimate feature, and speak to like if it's guaranteed or if it's not, which obviously is not guaranteed, but I just want you to add your words to it.
Yeah, I'll just touch on that really quickly. You're exactly right. Using the index to forecast a price is going to be highly imperfect, no matter how comprehensive the coverage of the player would be. In some ways, the more comprehensive the coverage gets, the less accurate it could be. In other cases, the more accurate it would be. There's reasons for that, but you're exactly right that not all cards follow the trajectory of the index. I think the best thing that an index can do is just kind of point you in the general direction of where the value is going and give you a reasonable estimate of what's happened if you're like looking back from a year to 2 years ago. But like, just so that we don't create any false impression that, we're trying to say that this is the market value. This is just like this is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a neat, fun way to do it. So if you go to our dashboard, on the dashboard itself, there's a percentage. If you scroll down a little bit further, right there, CL value accuracy. That's a number that we publish every day, no matter how good or how bad it is. And all that number says is of the 2,800 sales that we vetted yesterday, the 2,814, the CL value, which is the same thing as the index modeling that we were just looking at, the ability to use the last comp tied to the player's index to project the price, it was 72.57% accurate. So users can bear that in mind. They can say, okay, so there's maybe a plus or minus 30%. That's not like the statistically the most precise way to do it, but just roughly speaking, like, okay, so there's a pretty big margin of error here. And so in place of like, especially with more rare cards that don't sell that much, this is the next best thing to being able to see a comp. But by the same token, it's just supposed to be a fun tool, and maybe it can be a little bit insightful, but it's not a definitive statement of market value, and primarily for the reason that you laid out, Aaron.
All right, so here's I want to bring up a point that Chris made. Very rare cards. So we have exquisite noble nameplates of LeBron of 25, and this sold in 2015 through PWCC for 2,400. You click on that, gives you the estimated value of 133 grand.
Yep, and so that's going to kind of tell you what that is telling you what LeBron's market has done. So like a little bit beneath where it says LeBron James on that page and his index value, there's just a little blurb, a little sentence or two that explains exactly how that value was derived. And it's just, look, here's what LeBron's index was worth on that day in October in 2015, and here's what his index is worth now. So if you just apply the rate of growth that the index experienced to the price that this card sold for, it's going to give you $133,000 as the estimated value.
Of course. So that's I like that a lot because that does work very well. Now I will point out one more thing about this, and this is just something I discovered. And I want people to think about too while using this. If you do venture over to Card Ladder after this or during it, whenever. The only other instances where I see like the Card Ladder value, like where I just think to myself like, okay, I shouldn't really think that this is the value. If I grade a card and I mark my purchase price as the purchase price of the card plus the grading fee, or if I bought a card on a deal, let's say at a show or whatever, and I plug in my purchase price when going to add it, like let's say when I add that Walker Buehler, I put my purchase price as $100. Clearly, it's going to say it's worth like 75 or whatever. When in reality, if it's actually worth 240, it's worth 240. But this card specifically isn't indexed on Card Ladder, so we won't be able to know to go and grab that price yet.
Aaron,
Let me add one more way, Aaron, because I saw you start type his name and realize he doesn't have a players index. When Christina way overpays for a Maxi Kleba card, the player index would not be accurate because I'm trying to get that into my PC and I'm willing to like 1.5x what that card is actually worth. So deals and steals and PC overpays, those aren't going to reflect well using this.
That's right. But let me just chime in on that Josh and I were talking about this very problem today, and Josh has divined a way to maybe solve it. So that's actually something that we're actively like thinking about right now, Aaron, is like when you have that situation where the price you paid, whether it's because you bought it wrong, got it graded, or you just got a great deal, how can we solve it so that you can still input the price you paid and have accurate record keeping, but you can tie it for the purposes of your collection management to a more accurate price? And so we were literally talking about that problem just hours ago, Josh.
I gotta imagine using that sales history with all those different sales and tying keywords together. You guys got it, bang, boom. And then also, I'd love to see the grading multiplier applied in there too. For if you do grade a card, you can kind of check it as graded. That applies that to your card, given the different values that reads between all your different cards. Like there's so many cool things you guys can do, which is, I guess, I'm not jealous. I'm just happy for you all that you guys have built it. It's awesome, and I'm even happier that we're able to bring this feature and all these different sweet pieces of tech to our audience. I did see a question earlier that was from Jordan. I want to point out, I can't probably, there we go. Jordan says, hi everyone. How will this partnership work between Card Ladder and SlabStox? The way this is going to work is that Card Ladder, like I said, like this is not anything I wouldn't say if I wasn't saying on camera. They built the best platform out there for collectors. What they built with all these different data sources and with all these different player indexes and with all the different analytics that are going into this in the collection tracking, it's truly incredible. And we knew that once SlabStox Pro, our dream and passion, which really wasn't tech, it was more so just using the data to create the content for others, but we wanted to create it because it wasn't out there yet. And now it is because of Card Ladder. And this is going to give us the ability to shed all this light on all these amazing not only features here, but in reality, it's just going to supply all of our content with all of their data. And it's going to make it not only better, but it's going to make it more engaging, and it's going to bring out better insights too. So I'm super pumped for that reason, because Nate and I have always loved hopping on podcasts, making Instagram posts, just talking about this movement in the card space. And once we had to get so deep into like spending all our time building out tech that we were in no, business within experts in at all, we were just trying our best at it. And it's amazing to see it come to life here through Card Ladder. And right now, Tony, I believe, right guys, I can click dashboard and it'll tell you 19,777.
Yep, there you go. That's right.
So it's 19,777 cards right down the Card Ladder database. I'm sure many more to come. Many, many more to come. If anyone has any questions in the chat, feel free to drop them because we have a little bit of time, but I also have another question to ask them. So please, if you do have a question and want to give it in the comments, we can pull up a couple here throughout the next 15 minutes and get them to answer some of them. Because obviously, they're here offering their time for everyone. And once they're off this episode, Nate and I are running free with all their data. So if you guys got some, ask it down. Otherwise, you can send a DM on Instagram probably. But let's see here. First off, I'll just start with each of you. We can go in a round circle, and then as people ask questions, we can do them. But what's the future of Card Ladder now that PSA or really collectors acquired you all? Like what is going to come over the next year, 2 years, 5 years? I know you can't share everything, but just anything to get the people excited about sports cards in general and data.
Yeah. I'll jump in first, but I think we can all kind of speak to different things that we're each excited about in terms of teaming up with collectors. Probably the one that is most immediate in my mind is just that we're going to be adding 5 new researchers and we're going to be training them next month. And so to me, the scaling up of the databases and the backing of Collectors Universe resources to do that is going to be a huge change for this platform. And right now you might see 30, 40, 50 cards added per day. That's going to be 400, 500 cards per day pretty soon. So to me, one of the best parts about now being, teamed up with collectors is being able to grow the database. Because like the one thing that just stresses me out is not having the cards in the database that everybody wants to see in the database. And so that to me is going to like put me at ease. It's going to make me feel like we're serving the collectors and the members, even better. So for me, that's a big thing I'm excited about in teaming up with collectors.
Sweet. Let me pull up a question here because there's kind of two that are asking the same thing. Just for people who did miss out, just quickly have one of them brief over it. But card ladder value accuracy and player index / forecast. The quick 30-second elevator pitch on how it's used.
Yep, that's real simple. So like yesterday, we had about 2,800 sales. Each sale or each comp that was vetted last night is compared against what its projected value was. So if let's say a card ended up selling for $100 and the card ladder predicted value or projected value on it was $84, okay, there's a $16 difference. So that would be an 84% accuracy. And so what we do is we just record. The software records every single accuracy level for every single sale that happens. Maybe this one's 84% accurate. The next one's 62% accurate. The next one's 76% accurate. And then at the end of the night, all 2,814 measurements are totaled and then averaged. And then that's how that average is derived.
Are they weighted or no? Weighted average to the value or just all equal?
They're not weighted. And like we do that because like if we wanted to, we could sort of start tinkering with this. We could throw out raw cards, which like those naturally vary. We have a lot of raw cards and those will naturally vary from maybe it's $10 one day, $2 the next day, $4 the next day. And so like we could throw out raw cards, we could apply different weights to sort of, but we want to display a lower accuracy number. We don't want a number up there that's like 96%. That might make card ladder seem really shiny and cool in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to lead people to have more confidence than we'd like them to have in any attempt to model pricing. Because at the end of the day, a card's price is determined by what the two highest bidders bid on it on that particular day at that particular time. And there really is no way to predict that. Things can change and there can be so many variables that influence the outcome of how something sells on a particular day that we're trying to walk a fine line. We're trying to give people a tool to help model pricing, especially for more rare cards, but we're not trying to make a definitive statement of value. It's just a tool. So that's kind of why we do it that way and why we've set up the system in a way that's going to produce a lower number than if we wanted to get fancy with it.
And keep in mind, Chris was saying we want to create a tool for rare cards. This is not to say that they are neglecting non-rare cards. Like you type in the red, white, and blue Luca, and it's not as rare. There's 1,500 in the pop is like, a numbered out of 25, but there already has all the sales data here because they're selling all the time. So that's why he's bringing that up. I just want to make sure because sometimes I think people can blur the lines of what people say. I just want to make sure people don't think that you're saying we're neglecting non-numbered cards or whatever it is. And as you can see here, for a card like this that sells so frequently, it takes into account auction sales only. I'm assuming that's throughout all platforms, not just eBay. Yep, we got PWCC right there. So I will point this out for everyone if you didn't see that. If you click on the view all sales on the right side of the screen here, it will show you every sale that goes into that chart, and you can set a date right there that you want to see. And then you can look and it gives you the platform eBay, MySlabs, PWCC.
Aaron, those are all linked out too, except obviously eBay 91 plus days out. eBay deletes that.
Deletes it,
yeah. They like kill that link. But if you click on the January 1st, like that will bring you to eBay. You click the PWCC wherever it is in the sales history, and that will bring you out to PWCC's sale of that card. so that you can, for some of those rare cards especially, you could check the serial number, you could look at the old patches, and really dive in and find the card that you're looking for.
Yeah, I would say I was clicking them, but on StreamYard, I can't like just switch tabs back and forth. So I'd have to like do some big process to stop sharing and reshare. But they do link out to each place, which is awesome to see too. So you can verify it yourself. Elijah said, great leadership team here, takes commitment in your core team and it shows. Just want to shout out to the Card Ladder team, what Elijah said. And Bless and Break says, love Card Ladder, but I hope they really start to add some more cards instead of just the niche ones. And Chris did confirm earlier that is definitely the plan, bringing in 5 researchers to tackle different segments of the market. I have plenty of recommendations for soccer cards if you need them. And then, I was going to click on this one, PSA set registry with Card Ladder. Is that in the future, or is that probably something you maybe cannot share or can share? It's okay if you just say pause for now.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit. First, can you refresh and go to compare? I fixed that.
Yeah.
Refresh.
Oh, yeah, I got to refresh. You're right. So if we type in 2020 Prism, Joe Burrow, just click on the first one, and I click back up here.
Yeah.
Oops, I got to start retyping. Yeah, there you go. Click around. Look at that. Josh working on the call. I will say this might have reverted the coloring, or maybe that's just my screen. Maybe if I refresh
I'll
again.
fix it. It's because of something else, but yes.
Don't worry. Right. I'm well aware of how fixing one thing breaks another. We've been told
we learned that
plenty of times.
You fix one thing, 9 other mistakes pop up. You fix
it
one
usually
of those,
happens, but Chris and Christina don't notice because I fix before they notice. That's usually the game is like, how fast can I fix it before they say something to me? PSA set registry. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. I can't like speak to how it would actually be inside of Card Ladder because I think there's probably plans to combine like some of the Card Ladder collection data with PSA set registry and kind of bring that outward. I don't know that it'll ever be inside of Card Ladder directly, but I can't say for sure. I know that there is some desire within collectors to have the.
What about the other way around? So PSA collectors who are in their PSA dashboard can see the value change through Card Ladder.
That is much more likely because
that seems a lot more possible.
Yeah, they're leaning into like us as for more on the data side in terms of integration with their tools, and we're gonna kind of keep this standalone UI as it is, and potentially we could integrate some more data on their side because we have access to that data. So it's really just a matter of like, do we want to do that?
Well, I'm sure the PSA population report deal where I post that chart in the Giannis, that's gonna be much more extensive, I bet, at some point.
They don't even have that kind of stuff. They don't have any sort of like long-term population growth like we do. That's why we added it. And that's why if you look at them, it only goes back to when we started tracking the card.
That's actually kind of unbelievable, but I'm glad you guys started tracking it. That is very cool. Very, very cool. I want to point out, go ahead, Nate.
I was just going to point out a question from Dirk. Wax prices included in Card Ladder?
We do have some boxes in Card Ladder. As a member, feel free to request others. About once a month, I go through the submissions feature and try and find all the boxes and add them in. But like we definitely need more. So I appreciate recommendations on that.
Do you get Card Ladder values for wax? Like if there's a rare box, will you get a Card Ladder value for that?
No, just because there's no index to tie it to. So
I was gonna try to game the system and have you guys Card Ladder value like boxes cheaper that I can buy from SlabStox for myself for cheaper than we paid.
We don't game the system ever. So all about transparency and accuracy. So that's not us. We don't even joke about it.
When Nate says game the system, Nate's trying to game me for money is what he's trying to say. Not anyone else.
Exactly what I'm trying to say.
Well, look,
if anybody says that wrongly, my bad.
If you guys have wax for sale in your store, which I know you do, maybe a future collaboration as well as because like even if you scroll down on some of these pages, like if anything that's in our shop function, which like we didn't even talk about that because there's a lot, but like look, here's listings on my slabs of those boxes, and we could definitely talk about getting SlabStox listings into there through the shop feature as well potentially. So the shop feature is super powerful. Like it's searching live listings on my slabs, on PWCC's fixed marketplace, as well as their auctions. Heritage gets searched, and we're working on bringing in our sister company Golden as well. So we're definitely very high on the shop function as well. It can be a great way to find some great prices.
There you go. I'm assuming so that just brought me externally to my slabs, but in the future, is there ever going to be a side by side, like if cards are indexed? Like I haven't actually looked at that yet, but like let's just say I do find a Joe Burrow silver, you're gonna have enough cross referencing like keywords wise that this would tell me like the current card ladder value.
Yeah, I'll let Josh speak to that.
Yeah, you're asking about the index or the sales history or the comps?
I was talking about like if you have right here a My Slabs card of this Joe Burrow,
Yeah.
if there's ever going to be a time that you would be able to tie this back to the index for the 2020 Prism Joe Burrow, where it said it on here on the screen, like what the card
So
value
the
was.
goal being like you want to know what it's worth for real.
Yeah, basically at the
Yeah.
exact moment.
So yeah, we have a ticket for that. We just haven't done it yet.
Cool.
But
I just checked.
We're a little bit nervous about that because I actually don't like it when marketplace tools like tell you what it's worth. Now, granted, like we aren't the marketplace and we're not the ones like selling it, so it's a little bit different. But
yeah,
I just hesitate in how you do it. Like it has to be done in the right way that you're not like, potentially defaming the marketplace companies that have stuff that's potentially overpriced or whatever. So you just got to be a little bit careful.
I agree with that too, and that was one of our big things too when we were thinking about it. We were very much in the mindset that we have to make sure that people know when the last sale date wasn't only last sold, so that they can just
That's
that Joe Burrow threw for 900 yards. Like clearly, the last sale, if it happened 2 weeks ago, is going to be lower than this one. Like that's just obvious. Like just to make sure people.
I think that's the solution, right? And that's why when we put in the CL value on all the card profiles, we were very purposely put the last sold price and date right below it, right next to it, so it didn't get confused of like, we're not trying to hide the last sold, and we're not trying to like go against what the comps are. Like it's very clear that it's a separate piece of data.
Yeah,
and so I think your solution is good for the shop.
Got you. Hey, one more recommendation live on the stream here. So we've got our watch list here, and something I was thinking was when you got the little drop down here, adding a monthly change that just ties back to the or whatever card ladder, whatever you guys want to tie it back to, card ladder value, last sold, whatever it is, monthly change would be pretty cool in the watch list. Because Nate added just like an incredible amount of cards here, and it'd be fun to just like of the cards we're mostly watching to see which ones are moving the most, monthly, weekly, whatever.
Yeah,
definitely. Damn, yeah, you guys wasted no time loading up that watch list just so you had the pay later.
Oh my gosh, Nate went hard. He's like, hey, yeah, I added a couple cards. I'm like, dude, there's so many in here. Like this just keeps on going.
Nate, I'll have to message you after and offline and get you your own account so that you could stop clogging up errands.
Well, actually,
I clogged it up on purpose for SlabStox content usage.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because we are using kind of a centralized account to make sure we can see it together versus differently. Because we can always go up here and sort it by soccer. If I just want to see soccer.
Why isn't it showing the pop?
Why would you want to do that?
I don't know. Yeah, I see pop reports here, Josh, if that's what you're talking about.
Super annoying. Every time you're showing me something, I'm like literally coding. I fixed the compare thing, by the way.
Wait, what's wrong with the pop reports?
It was showing NA on some of those. I don't know why.
Oh, I did see that a couple times earlier too, but I don't know. It looks fine to me. Like this is a raw though. So
yeah, it's for the raws.
Yeah.
No, I know. I saw other ones. Just it's okay. You guys are like talking and I'm writing stuff down. It's fine. Just pretend I'm not here.
Awesome.
They thought they were gonna end the night with a casual conversation, not taking notes and doing work.
Always on the clock.
Yeah.
Hey, if I learned anything from Chris's post the other day, it's he's always on the clock. So I'm okay with texting him at 10 o'clock tonight about Joe Burrow Gold Prism last night.
That's right. No, I mean, dude, the Burrow market too. I'm sure you guys have touched on it quite a bit, and I love that post you made about it. But something really unique is happening with Burrow cards right now. There's been a lot of modest energy in football cards since the season started, and now Burrow is just breaking through in such a major way. And look, it's very difficult to win a Super Bowl or even get to a conference championship, but man, they just knocked off the best team in the AFC. And if they can make a real push, Joe Burrow cards. Oh boy, I just wish I owned some. That's pretty much where I'm going with that.
he's just a sad boy right now. And I will point out, Chris brought up the football trend. You can go under the indexes and click on each individual sport. I didn't show that earlier. Different sports. click on the index. This is the all-time index, which obviously it's going to be exploded, just like all cards. But if you click on like 3 months, like that goes back to beginning of October. So as you can see, pretty much green all over the place, daily, monthly, and quarterly change, which is cool to see. And probably speaks to a testament of how much the big guys have grown, because I'm sure the small guys have fallen some too. But sometimes it just takes a couple Joe Burrows to hold up an index, I guess.
I guess so, man. Vintage football is doing really well right now. Like, saw a Joe Namath rookie come through the sales review process last night, set an all-time high. There's this market, man. It's so complicated. There's just so many different silos to think about.
I agree. And I just realized whenever I pull up a comment, I completely block Christina's face. That was not intentional to put you down there. I don't know how you got there, but you're blocked right now.
That's fine. That's fine.
Adam, Heroes for Sale. This is actually a great feature. Would there be a way to add a time filter of start of season and kind of ranging back to that given season? Now, I know it's hard if maybe it's just the most recent season, obviously, but that'd be cool, just to punch that in quick and see. Obviously, you can do some Googling and customize it. And that is something to point out, is that I'll click cards here, and let's just take this Tua, for example. If you go here, you can customize any timeline you want. So in essence, you would probably go to something like September, I don't know, the 9th or whatever, and then go to the most recent date, the 3rd, and then that would be your total season. But cool to think about, just to make everything easier.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, Leland asked if we have POP, like what companies we have population reports for. We have PSA, BGS, and SGC.
Yep. So let me just pull up like a 9.5 here so people can see. There's the BGS 9.5 POP, tracking the POP report growth for them too. And then if you go to let's just say like an SGC 10, here's Nate's favorite card because he's got one back from PSA. We've got the SGC 10 pop since July, which has doubled. That just goes to show you how many cards have gone sent to SGC.
I never use that feature, but anytime someone clicks on one and it's like doubled in 2 months, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's just so crazy. So crazy. All right, well, hey, last thoughts just on what you're excited about the sports car market and Card Ladder to go forward.
Before we do that, Aaron, I just want to clear up for Leland because they seem to be confused. So every card on Card Ladder is for that grade, and that grade's pop alone is shown in the pop. So this pop report of 614 is just for the SGC 10 Gen Mint.
Of Acuna Jr., this base one.
Yes. Yeah. So the SGC 9 would be separate, and like the PSA 10, like those are all different pops.
And I just want to point out one last thing too before I wrap up. I saw a question earlier about the partnership in general and like what it means. Is it merging SlabStox and Card Ladder? No, there's no merge in any sort of way. This is a completely independent partnership on both sides. If anything, it's just going to be us two working together to bring more sports card data to the community and to hopefully build a better atmosphere for everyone to learn and develop their own collections and enjoy cards more together. Because I think that's both of our goals. For us specifically, our mission is to make sports cards accessible to everyone. And once I knew that Card Ladder was really doing that on a high level, I was like, hey, this is time to Nate. And Nate actually came to me too, so I shouldn't play that down. Nate came to me. And I was very happy he did and fortunate he did, because I think this is such an important thing. Data in the space, but not just data, good data, transparent data, and lots of data from lots of different sources. I can't downplay or upplay that enough, I suppose, how much that matters. And just as independent as we are of each other, that means that any content we create, it all comes from us, just as it was before. I want to make that very specific. And every single thing we do, we obviously have partnerships formed, but every single content piece we produce, it comes from our minds and our heart, and we put it out there. These other places just give us the tools to do so, which is awesome. I think, to be able to come this far as a company with Nate, and then to have people like, Chris and Josh and Christina here to support us, and PWCC and SGC and all these other places is very, very cool. And I'm very, we're very fortunate and blessed to be able to do this. Never did I think as a kid growing up collecting cards that it'd go this far, but here we are today. I'm sure you guys thought the same exact thing, or didn't think the same thing.
That's a great point, Aaron. And man, think about the journey, man, of how of just the last 3-4 years. Just how much everything in this industry has changed, and it's mind blowing, man.
That's awesome. I don't think so. Leland says this Card Ladder show things are at PSA, BGS, SEC waiting to be graded. They don't really probably release any of that information, so I'd say no.
That'd be neat
Chris can
if
confirm
they
that.
did.
That would be cool. That would actually change the game. That would totally change the game.
It would.
Then you could know if you're sitting on 10 Kyle Lewis PSA 10s to dump them when another 10,000 are about to come back.
Or you
That's
know that
right.
you're literally about to make no money. One of the two.
That's
That was a
right.
very big shot at Nate right there. Sorry.
I'm not salty about 1 year ago Nathan sending in 10 Kyle Lewis's to get graded at $17 a pop at all. Not
Hey, at
salty.
least it wasn't like $50 a pop, so there's that.
That's true.
But you wouldn't have done that. All right, team. Anything else on today's episode? Chris, anyone let her rip if you have it.
Yeah, I'll just let it rip and then pass the mic to the other two to give any final thoughts. You were saying like thinking about the sports card market. I just have like 2 or 3 very quick things on that. The first one is that we saw an unprecedented bull run in sports cards that began around this time 1 year ago. And it's interesting to see what's going to happen going into, yeah, exactly. Look, that crazy spike that was like February and March of last year.
Yeah,
So
that was insane.
It was insane, right? And he's looking at the Card Ladder 50 index, which is like tracking the types of cards that were most susceptible to the price fluctuations that we saw. And so like for me, there's a lot of uncertainty, excitement, nervousness going into this year as we enter that same phase and what's going to happen in our market. So like, it's just really fun and interesting to keep an eye on that. And then the other one is that, Nate mentioned the compare feature, and I was on Clubhouse late last night talking with some collectors who are very excited about Joe Burrow. And we just started using the hell out of that collect feature to just line up Burrow cards. And no matter which way you sliced it, his cards just seemed so underpriced for the moment. So like we ended up putting Mahomes' Contenders PSA 10, which last sold for $50,400. We ended up lining up that against the Burrow, which like the Burrow is not in there yet, so I shouldn't even be talking about this. It's waiting to be processed. But we lined it up, and the Burrow last sold for $3,400. So there was like a 15x multiplier from the Burrow Contenders PSA 10 to the Mahomes. So that's not a perfect comparison because Burrow has a variation and more parallels. But then we also, and these two actually are in the system right now, we lined up the Mahomes Field Level Silver PSA 10, and we lined up the 2017, and we lined up that against the Burrow 2020 Field Level Silver PSA 10, and we found the multiplier there to be 10x. And so, like, once again, we were just kind of looking at that, and we were saying, man, would you rather have 10 Burrow Field Level Silver PSA 10s or 1 Mahomes? And, it's just a thought experiment at the end of the day. Sometimes it can be a call to action. Sometimes it can't. You see all the information you want is there. The pop reports are there. So you can see that the Burrow pop is almost 2 times what the Mahomes is. And the Burrow pop still could probably grow where the Mahomes probably won't. So there's lots of different variables to take in mind. But just, it can just be really fun. And that's the end. That's why I'm going to end this on, man. This is why I'm so excited about partnering with you guys. You make content that's really fun. And it's informative, but it goes back to the heart of the hobby, which is just, this is a hobby, we should be enjoying ourselves. And so that's kind of what we're always focused on, is just having fun in the hobby, and the hobby making your daily life better, taking away the everyday stress of your life, and just having fun with sports cards and allowing sports cards to be an extension of your sports fandom. So you guys have a very clear mission statement relating to education. Education is fundamental to enjoying this hobby and succeeding at it. So just very excited to be here with you guys, and we're looking forward to collaborating with you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
It.
Yeah, obviously echo everything Chris said. I think, us collaborating with you guys and joining this partnership is a lot of like getting the 3 of us out of our comfort zone a little bit. We focus on a pretty niche part of the hobby, I would say, in terms of like collecting super rare, just like sticking to our player. So to have someone that's speaking to the app and how they use it in terms of, the investing side, or like looking for deals, or, navigating the app in a different fashion to me is a great challenge for us. And I'm excited for that. And hopefully we can use this opportunity to make the app better for everybody. And we can bring in a new group of people that we otherwise may not have reached because we just don't, we don't have that type of audience. So I think that's what we're, most excited about for sure. And and we're really excited about what you guys are doing. So hoping to keep growing and keeping this more fun, like Chris said.
Awesome.
When you have two very smart people who speak in front of you, there's not much to add at the end. So I'm just going to ditto them. And thank you guys for the time today and having us on.
Yeah, that's no worries at all. I mean, I have to follow up Nate all the time sometimes in the weekly slab, so I know how it feels.
You're an idiot.
Hey, I just gave you credit. Chill.
I know. I don't like compliments.
I know, that's why I did it. I will say I'm super energized. I'm very thankful for the Card Ladder team in general, and also for embarking on this endeavor with us. And I will say one of my favorite parts so far has been I still got that feeling of working on a platform without owning it or being necessarily a part of it, because I can't believe how many things I've already suggested to Chris and Josh to change. And I feel bad, but it just brings that fire out of me that feels like them have like a nice little side gig now. That's it's fun. I mean, this is great. This is such a great platform. It's such a fun thing to use, because I think that's the most important part that Chris touched on is it's fun. I mean, this has been fun using this. I've not sat here and been like, this is a burden to use this darn thing. This is what I wanted when I was like a sophomore in college, was this. And it took some time between you all building us and us trying and not getting there, but now getting to use this, which is way better because that's what I wanted. And it's just great. So I'm very thankful for you all, and very excited about the future. Nate, I'll let you say your last hurrah, and then we'll get going for the day.
Ooh, really leaving me to last.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ditto what Aaron said. I too am very excited to use this thing. I've used it a little bit, not as much as Aaron, but it has been a thrill to use on my end. After working on our platform and knowing all the intricacies that go with it, and collecting the data and this and that, getting to go on here and just see the data there without having to touch it at all is like the greatest thing in the world. And then also seeing the amount of guys you have that we didn't have, baseball notwithstanding, but you guys are going to build baseball. You said that, and I'm excited for it. And if you need suggestion of guys, I'm there for you. I can suggest guys all day long until my hair falls out. Well, it's already fallen out, but you get the point.
Just make sure you spend enough time creating content, otherwise this is a fail.
That's true. But I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this partnership. I think it's good for people in general, just in everyday life, to see two companies that were not necessarily working against each other, but working on the same thing, and coming together kind of gives hope for everything else in life. So.
Yeah, and I want to point out too, we made it very clear in our Instagram post we put up on our launch day. These three have been friends of us, all this time. I remember interviewing both Chris and Josh, and vice versa with Josh too, nearly 2 years ago, probably at this time. And they're great individuals. Never has there been ill will felt towards anyone sitting here creating a product that has became a masterpiece in my mind, and is going to continue to get even better and faster at that too. And I just want to, thank them not only for working, together now in the future, but just for the friendship too, because it's great to be able to sit on this call now with Chris and Josh and Christina versus like trying to walk around it. Because I want to, you guys are all great, and we're happy to be here with you all. Very, very happy, and I can't wait for the future.
Right on, guys. What a way to kick off the new year.
Absolutely. I'm glad how that worked out too. I was very ready to go on Jan 1, and here we are now, Jan 3. So let's keep it going. And I just want to thank everyone too for coming to today's stream. It means a lot for coming here and listening to us talk about Card Ladder with the great Card Ladder folks here, and seeing how we're going to be able to build together and build a very transparent and great community for sports cards going forward, because this is really gonna do wonders, I think, for everyone involved, and hopefully the audience too, because this is going to be so awesome to have you all use this as we are too, and learning about sports cards with us. So if you do want to see more Card Ladder content, of course, follow us at SlabStox on Instagram. Follow Card Ladder on Instagram too, at Card Ladder. They post all their own content on the sports card marketplace. So you'll definitely get a large touch of that just through social media. But on top of that, if you do want to dig in really deep yourself, the link I just pasted in the YouTube chat, you can go sign up for an account right now. There's an annual price break too if you do want to jump into the yearly. I would recommend that, just even if as much as saving yourself the headache of finding all the sales history, because if anyone's tried, there's a big headache to get sales history, especially when you're talking about from different platforms. So that will help a lot, help us a lot. It obviously helps you a lot. And that's all I got to say for today. So last thing is don't forget tomorrow, SlabStox Breaks 3 p.m. Eastern time on the SlabStox Breaks YouTube channel. But other than that, thank you everyone for coming to another SlabStox YouTube Live on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be back next week at the same time. And we'll surely be using the Card Ladder Pro platform in that video to talk about the different sports car marketplace trends and sports trends in general too. And we're pumped about it. And yeah, we can't wait. So we will see you all then. And thank you all.